Today in the crypto space, we see the market taking a further dip to the downside. We see Bitcoin right around that $26,000 level and Ethereum right around that $1,600 mark. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, are definitely dipping down. As long as Ethereum keeps on showing us weakness, we can expect the altcoins to follow suit. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one altcoin, one project that we've talked about in the past, and that project is called Microvisionchain. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of that volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects that you want me to cover on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below, or you can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. But better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is a great community, lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, learning material, and all that good stuff. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's take a look at what this market is showing us today. Bitcoin at least is kind of going sideways, not dipping down too heavily just yet. Maybe we do come down for another dip. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin for sure as a leading indicator in today's video, but also, of course, today's video is all about Microvisionchain, one of the altcoins that have been dipping down. Today was a significant dip for Microvisionchain. We're going to take a look at that chart, and we're going to see if we can use Bitcoin as an indication of whether Microvisionchain, as well as other altcoins, could be finding its bottom very soon. In my opinion, obviously, guys, we got to wait for momentum. Momentum is a good way to actually get that indication whether the bears are exhausted, whether the bearish momentum is done, and we can see that right now, as we speak, Ethereum is taking a bigger dip than Bitcoin. So that means that Bitcoin is showing dominance once again over the altcoin market. Now, it's very likely that's the case. Tonight in tonight's live stream, we'll take a look at the Bitcoin dominance once again to kind of reiterate and make sure that that's actually happening, and how we can use the Bitcoin dominance as a trading tool, right? Because at the end of the day, if we do see altcoins come down even further, they could present us the absolute best opportunity to start DCing into some of these great projects, especially the ones that we've been talking about here on the channel significantly. All right, let's continue looking at this market. We see it dripping down, continuations 2% here and there. I know it's not a lot, but quickly look at the 7-day dips, right? We're almost in double-digit gains, double-digit dips in some of them. Like, for example, AVAX down 10% overall in the last 7 days. Today is about 3%, 2% here and there. Every day accumulates over time, and then you can see that full swing to the downside. And I don't really feel totally convicted that the market is done coming down. Honestly, it does look like a lot of weaknesses around the corner. It could be very possible that Bitcoin tests that 25K level once again. Look at VeChain breaking lows, making lower lows, slowly dipping down to lower levels. This is the thing here. Optimism down 5% today, a total of 10% in the last 7 days. Arbitrum, very similarly coming down, and we have many more. Look at Near Protocol, another 7%, Aave 10%, Kaspa, in the last 7 days, another 10%. Kaspa got a bit of relief, but guess what, guys? Retracement right back down. If it breaks below previous lows, we can expect that Kaspa will not only make a lower low, but potentially break below that very small level of support. And on top of that, because of the confluence, we have a diagonal that it could break below. And if it does, guys, we'll break trend, we'll break, some sort of horizontal support that we are in right now with Kaspa. And unfortunately, looking for a potential break of structure would have to take us a lot lower where that previous low is. Guys, we can take a look at Kaspa tonight. Of course, guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover, that is a great place and time to actually make those requests tonight at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Okay, guys, let's continue. Algorand kind of going sideways. Okay, fine. That's pretty good, at least as the market is looking a bit weak. We have Algo going sideways. The graph, kind of going sideways, dipping down just a little bit in the grand scheme of things for the weekly, for the last 7 days. What else do we have? We have Render coming down today, 1.5%. It's not significant, but the overall structure here is if Bitcoin Bitcoin, if render breaks below that previous low, it doesn't look good. Guys, I'm going to put render on the list for tonight. And obviously your requests, I'll put them in top priority. But render's looking really interesting. Yeah, the setup right now, that double top, that confirmation high, that lower high, I wonder how it looks in the grand scheme of things. So we'll take a look at that chart tonight for sure. What else do we have? Synthetics dipping down a few percent to the downside, 3%. This is the thing, the continuation to the downside is continuing. So we got to anticipate that the market right now is not giving us the signal of support. In fact, I would say, like, look at the weakness that Thorchain is showing us, 26.8% to the downside. But don't forget, Thorchain rallied up pretty hard previous to this, and this is where you get the, you know, the peaks and the valleys. And now we're getting a valley, we're in a dip, we're in a scenario where you could potentially see Thorchain at a very, very good buy opportunity. So let's put Rune also on the list. And I always say, when Rune moves, it does really show strength, okay? So something to consider. And then randomly, we have FracShare with a nice pump, 6.5% to the upside. This is a random anomaly. It decided to go, you know, rogue on its own, which is totally fine. It happens all the time, guys. But I wouldn't put so much emphasis on FracShare, given that the market is showing a significant amount of weakness. I would be quick to take profits at any level of resistance that you see. So maybe we'll take a look at FracShare. I'll put that one also on the list. Let's see. FracShare is an interesting scenario that's happening right here. But as we continue scrolling throughout this market, either, you know, we're dripping down further lows or kind of going sideways, desperately looking for support. You can see that's very consistent. Gala getting a bit of a bounce, but 3.7%. But at the end of the day, could we get a quick rejection and continue to the downside? This could be just a bit of relief, a reaction from a good level of horizontal potential support type of thing. And this is it, guys. This is it. The market ultimately is dipping. What else do we have here? Veracity coming down significantly, 23% to the downside. Chainlink coming down potentially at range lows once again. Arbitrum, Kujira making a nice bounce, 25%. Guys, I've been taking a peek at Kujira every once in a while. Obviously, you know, it's hard to be forward thinking, especially for some of these low caps, but and to get into them prior to the pump. But 25% is very, very healthy. And Loom, 55%, still rocketing to the upside. And Solana taking a bit of a dip, down 6.3%. All right, guys, this market, general consensus is the market's coming down. There are some random anomalies, of course, that are pumping. If you're able to get into those, great, congratulations. Take those profits, guys. Don't be greedy, because the market's not looking great. And if Bitcoin takes a huge dip down to about 25K, even lower, maybe to about 20K, give or take, guys, this is the thing. Will these altcoins still be able to hold up? I doubt it. I doubt it. All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts. Let's begin our analysis talking about Bitcoin. What's going on with Bitcoin? Bitcoin, of course, going sideways, still within this consolidation. And I'm starting to think, you know, what kind of distribution phase could we be in? You know, it could be a definite distribution where maybe we're just getting a confirmation here, a confirmation high, a lower high, and then eventually rolling over and breaking necklines, right? Breaking this in very, very important level of support at about 25K. But in the immediate short term, what are we seeing here, guys? Let's take a look. All right, so Bitcoin definitely is breaking below this little trend here, a nice little consolidation or a nice retracement to the upside. We can see a bit of a wave structure happening here. We're breaking a bit of a trend. We didn't break any structure in the sense that we're making a lower low on this little retracement here. This low is something that we got to watch out for. If we break this low, it's very likely that we are going to be coming down to about 25K. So essentially, if we break below the point of control at about 26, pretty much 26,089, it's very likely that, you know, we're going to start testing lower levels, which is at about 25K, pretty much sharp 25K. So you can see at 25K, we do have some support that we need to hold in order to prevent this thing from breaking down even further and dragging the entire market down. I know a lot of us are anticipating a dip and hoping for dips. And guys, honestly, I'm one of them. I'm kind of wanting a bit of a retracement here so that we can scale in and, you know, shake out all the visitors, you know, the ones that are on vacation here, trying to make a quick buck, so that we can accumulate some of these altcoins at lower levels. You know, altcoins are going to give us the volatility to make some real life-changing gains. That's the reality here. Bitcoin, although it does dip, although it's been hanging around here, how many X values do you expect Bitcoin to do? That's the truth. Bitcoin is still great, a great store of value. Its tech is awesome. It's the best of what it does, and that's the truth. But if you're looking for gains, you got to look for mid caps, low caps, micro caps, and of course adjust your position size based on the risk that you are are getting into based on, you know, the market cap and the fundamentals and all that good stuff. Guys, we talk about crypto here on the channel every single day, pretty much looking at very, very diverse projects. Low caps, of course, we love those low caps. We do deep dives. And speaking of deep dives, guys, I'm preparing a deep dive. I'm beginning the majority of my research. I started today, just a little bit, but I'm starting the majority of my research tomorrow on one altcoin, one project that, you know what, just on my preliminary research is looking really good. It's looking really, really interesting. And this is part of the thing here, guys. We're in a bear market. It's a good opportunity that we use this time with the price action that we have. We use the time to actually learn and research these projects that could actually make us some really good gains in the bull run. Okay, so we're looking at lower caps that are new, that have interesting value propositions, that have a lot of potential growth in new narratives that haven't been really explored and touched yet. So this is what the challenge is right now for a lot of us that are here in the crypto space and new to the crypto space, is that it's time to learn and equip ourselves with fundamental bullishness. That's the truth. Okay, so Bitcoin right now is not really giving me a signal. The only signal that it's giving me is protect yourself just in case we break below 25K. All right, guys, let's take a look at the project for today. So we know that Bitcoin is giving us a bit of a signal that we could roll over, and you see that the market sentiment is kind of suggesting that. So what does that mean for the project that we're going to be talking about? A Microvisionchain. Space is the ticker. Let's take a look. Bitcoin coming down means that altcoins are also going to come down. And of course, if the market anticipates that Bitcoin will be coming down, the market is also going to prepare its portfolio in such a way that it's going to want to get risk off, basically exit risky positions. That's exactly what it will end up happening. And of course, lower cap altcoins are going to be the riskier of within the crypto space. It's going to be the riskier asset within the crypto space because, of course, the volatility is a lot higher because of the market cap, and the projects are new. The projects don't have any bearings just yet. A lot of them don't even have a working product just yet. Some of them don't even have a white paper for that matter. So this is the thing. When you're in a risky scenario, as far as the market conditions, you start to sell off your risky assets. And we can kind of see some of these projects feeling the heat right now. Microvisionchain, of course, is one of them. Let's look at this in a little bit more detail. The daily, of course, is not looking good. And if you follow my strategy, you've been following me here on the channel, you will know exactly what I'm going to say, because I don't like this price action because of the momentum. The momentum did not get oversold, and I would never be trading this based on daily time frames. And in fact, the daily didn't even give me a signal that I should be getting in a position right here, basically getting into a long or accumulating, right? Because the oversold conditions on the R side did not meet my expectation. I want the RSI to get into the oversold scenario at 30% or below before I start considering DCAing. Okay, so let's play this out. At this point, we were still in the chop zone, still in the 50% on the RSI, more or less. Okay, we hung out here. We chopped around in this zone for a good while, and while the price action was either coming down or eventually going a bit sideways for consolidation, right? For a nice little breather, relaxation. That's basically what happened here. And then all of a sudden we start thinking, look, are we going to start going bullish? The only way I would have gotten bullish on this price action is under one condition, and it has to be on the 4 hour. It cannot be on the daily. The daily was not giving me any signal. Okay, so all this TA that you see here is based on the 4 hour. Then we held support. Nice, good level of support. And based on this volume gap, you can see this weak spot here in the chart, a huge weak spot that we track significantly on the channel, the weak spots on charts, right? This is a very, very weak spot. A good bullish thing was that we were creating a descending wedge. So statistically speaking, we should eventually break out to a certain level and potentially hit some resistance. Now, again, it's only based on the 4 hour. The daily was not a good signal. So what is the daily actually telling us right now? The daily is breaking down from the consolidation, basically breaking down from the chop zone, and it's very likely that it's looking to get oversold. And that's when I'm going to start looking to deploy. And this is the reason why I have a green arrow here. I have green arrows here all the time. I scatter green arrows around to hypothetically say, if the momentum did get oversold in those scenarios where the green arrows are close by, I may consider buying the dip. But it didn't happen here. It didn't happen here, or here did we get oversold on the daily. And that's unfortunate. But however, now we might get oversold. You can see that we do have a green arrow, a good level of horizontal support based on previous price action. It's actually not even the greatest horizontal level of support. to be honest. Why? Because there's very little price action with very little volume. Look at the VPVR. The volume profile is not really even giving me a register that we got enough supply and demand to act as support here. So this is obviously even still a bit risky right around this level. So what I would be saying here is this: instead of trying to catch a falling knife, anticipate that we might get a reactive move down here. Maybe some support. We might create a nice pattern, some consolidation, a W, an inverse head and shoulders, an Adam and Eve, a cup and handle, and the list goes on. We might continue getting some sort of signal here of support, and that's when I'm interested, because then we're going to get a bit of confluence based on the previous price action, based on maybe some sort of bullish divergence that we might get around here. And unfortunately, we're not even getting a confirmation that there's some volume here, but at least we got some price action. So let's see if we actually get some support there, or maybe we might even get it right now. You never know. Maybe the market's going to front run this scenario and show us a bit of a pattern. But as of now, it's not showing me anything on the daily. So the daily is still not tradable for me. The time to go short was up here, guys. Look at this, right around here where I had my red arrows. This was the time to take profit. And if you've been following me on the channel, these red arrows have been here for a while, and I've been calling the tops on Microvisionchain since I put in these red arrows. Now is the time to actually say, okay, we're almost oversold, and we might be looking for signals to start buying the dip and accumulating at these low levels. Okay, so let's quickly look at the 4-hour to see the play-by-play, exactly what happened here. We did get a nice descending wedge. We were getting class A bullish divergence on this wedge. We broke out of this wedge. We got a nice little impulsive move to the upside, and then we got rejected. Okay, this is the thing. The issue is that did we get oversold or overbought here? We barely got overbought and we got rejected. So at this point, the important thing was for you to trail up a stop loss and take profit, or at least trail up a stop loss and identify that we had weak spots in the charts, and you should have put a stop loss at about $9 based on the strategy, based on the arrows, based on the fact that we had a weak spot, and the place to expect reactions are at the bottom and the top of the volume gaps. We basically busted right through this volume gap and got rejected at the top of the volume gap, which is this right here, this little area right here. You can see this empty gap in the volume profile. That was the area, right? And the next area was right about here. And if you happen to get in on this pump to right around this, you may have had the chance to take a bit of profits and de-risk, especially if you thought about front running this market and taking a profit a little bit early. This was a tough one. At least you should have put yourself at break even so that you would have been in a risk-free trade and not take any losses based on this pump. Now that we've broken down, okay, now you can see that the 4 hours again back in over sold conditions on the 4 hour. Let's look at this RSI again. Look at this. We're back into this zone. Do we get signs of another bullish divergence and get in for another pump that could actually break out bullish with some real good strength after we've retraced and we've picked up some more bullish bids at lower levels? Guys, the probability now of actually getting a nice bullish move to the upside increases after every time we get a lower low. It's all about statistics. Every lower low gets closer to the opportunity of us actually breaking out bullish. So what are we going to see here? We see a continuation here. We see a bit of a trend. Okay, we can totally ignore this descending wedge because we kind of faked out and broke out and faked out. It's a bit of a channel now type of thing. You can see, let's kind of adjust this a little bit. You can see what I'm talking about. A bit of a downward sloping channel. We're here. We're very close to this level. And you can see why here on the 4 hour, I would like to see this hold a support because we have some price action looking left. Not significant amount. As I mentioned, very low volume support. And in fact, you can see that the beginning of the weakness is right around here as well. Okay, so in fact right now is still not a bad time to buy a bit of the dip. Now we do have a diagonal support. You can see I don't like diagonals, I prefer horizontals, and we do begin a bit of support here based on the fact that we're losing volume and the bulls are going to want to protect this at all costs based on the fact that some people may have accumulated here and they're going to be thinking about protecting their gains. So I'm liking this area right here, definitely liking this area. So if we come back and test DCA is not bad of a scenario because at least we have some confirmations based on price action about diagonal support and all that kind of confluence that we look for here. Okay, so let's see if we get some signs of bullish divergence on the 4 hour. That would be really, really bullish. Let's see if the MACD gives us a nice EMA cross and we get some green histogram bars to the upside. Obviously, that would be super bullish. And ultimately, let's see if the daily finally gets oversold. If the daily finally gets oversold, we're going to close the daily candle today, of course, tonight at 8 o'clock. be live with me on the live stream, and we'll discuss what's happening on Space and many other projects, of course. But if we get oversold on the daily, that's going to be a good signal to say, maybe this is where the bears start to show signs of weakness, and that's when we're going to start looking for, again, patterns that show support, bullish divergences, and breakout targets and all that good stuff, because Microvisionchain Space could be retracing based on the fact that there's a nice weak spot here to be had and to take advantage of. Of course, fundamentally, guys, it's very important that you're fundamentally bullish. If you're looking for a deep dive, I did do a deep dive earlier on Microvisionchain. Go check it out. It's there on the channel. Feel free to check it out. In fact, I do a lot of videos. I produce videos on the daily, and I'm live each and every day pretty much. So go check that out. But at the end of the day, as long as this thing is holding up fundamentally and the team is still good, because honestly, deep dives they're great, but things need to be updated, and you need to keep track of what's happening with the team. You got to keep track of what's happening with the roadmap, what milestones are being hit, and every milestone that is hit, expect a pump. Every milestone that is not being hit and delayed, expect a dump. And this is exactly what could be happening. So we really want to keep up with what's happening fundamentally, as well as the price action. All right, guys, if I've offered you any value here in this video, do the channel a massive favor and slap the like button. Of course, I'm live tonight at 7:30. Feel free to join and make your requests. I'll put your requests in top priority. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description. And of course, that Discord, guys, go check it out. Great community, lots of good alpha, trade setup, fundamentals, and all that good stuff. All right, guys, take care. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.